Welcome to Verify This, the show that answers your questions and separates fact from fiction, so you can determine whether viral claims online are true or false. I'm your host, Ariane Till. Here's a quick look at what we're covering today on Verify This. Did a cancer drug trial cure all of the participants? Are hospitals legally required to provide an itemized bill upon request? Is the average amount forgiven for PPP loans greater than the $20,000 that some could see erased from their student loans? Are businesses legally required to accept cash? And does an Instagram update change how precise your location appears to other people? The answers to these questions and more coming up on Verify This. But first, this show, it revolves around you and your questions. So as we move through these stories, if you have a question or if you think of something that you want verified, just send us a text at 202-410-8808. Once you sign up for our daily Fast Facts, you can start sending us those questions. And who knows, you could be featured in next week's show. Like Ashley, who spotted a viral meme claiming that a recent cancer treatment trial cured all of the participants. We asked Brandon Lewis to take a closer look at what the trial actually did.
Finding a cure for cancer is the moonshot that scientists worldwide want to discover. So when Verify viewer Ashley spotted social media posts and headlines like these claiming one study achieved the impossible, she asked us if scientists really cured cancer. So Ashley, let's verify. Did a cancer drug trial cure all of the participants? Our sources are the results of a trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine and Dr. Tom George, an oncologist at the University of Florida. The posts and headlines referenced a study published in June. Researchers administered an immunotherapy drug to fewer than 20 people who suffered from a rare type of rectal cancer. After 6 months, the study showed the cancer entered remission for all patients, meaning their cancer was no longer detectable. Both the study authors and our source says while this is certainly exciting news, it's too soon to say the participants are cured.
We need more time to know that the cancer is truly permanently gone. We don't know that yet. What we know is that the cancer shrunk. It shrunk down so far that we can't see it anymore.
Researchers also want to make sure the cancer didn't spread to other parts of the body, as well as conduct a larger study to see if the drug works with more people with rectal cancer. So the claim that a cancer drug trial cured all of the participants needs context. This was a small study of patients who had a rare form of cancer that returned very promising results.
We're all very, very excited about this because it could usher in a new era for patients with bowel cancer.
With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
That story was a classic see something, say something. Ashley saw a viral meme and wanted to know if it was true, so she sent it to us and voila! Not only did she get an answer, she was featured right here as a viewer spotlight. Now, if you really want to be in the spotlight, record a video of yourself asking a question and then email it to questions@verifythis.com. You never know, your video could end up in next week's show. Next up, the average cost of a 3-day hospital stay in the U.S. is around $30,000, according to healthcare.gov. So when our Verify team stumbled upon a tip on TikTok that claims hospitals are required to provide patients with an itemized bill upon request, opening up the possibility of negotiating down some of those charges, we decided to verify whether or not it's true. According to the National Consumer Law Center, a leading cause of bankruptcy in the U.S. is medical debt. They say surprise medical bills from out-of-network doctors play a big role in this issue. A viral TikTok claims that hospitals are legally required to provide an itemized bill, which is a line-by-line breakdown of all medical services and their costs if a patient requests one. These detailed bills allow patients to check for and contest duplicate or erroneous charges. But this claim needs context. Using these sources, let me walk you through what is and isn't required when it comes to hospital bills. There is no federal legal requirement that hospitals provide an itemized bill upon request like that viral video implies, except when it comes to Medicare patients. They have that right regardless of location, according to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. As for everyone else, well, about half of states have laws on the books that give patients the right to receive a copy of an itemized bill from a hospital upon request. In the other states, hospital systems can set their own policies about providing itemized bills. And if they don't have a policy, our experts warn hospitals could refuse to provide you with one. Patient advocacy expert Anne-Marie Quintagli-McElwain says patients should find out if their state has a patient's bill of rights, which is a document that explains how people can reasonably expect to be treated during their hospital stay, including whether or not they're entitled to an itemized bill. What is required nationwide is that hospitals provide a good faith estimate of all costs in advance to medical care for uninsured patients and those paying out of pocket. This is because of the No Surprises Act that went into effect in January. Are you following us on TikTok yet? Well, you should be. We post explainers on new legislation, and we fact-check claims that go viral on the app. A recent video featuring Verify audience producer Kylie addresses the wildly controversial claim that you should not use hydrogen peroxide on wounds. Spoiler alert, it's actually true. And while we can't be there when you break the news to your parents in person, just know that we're there in spirit. We're trying to be. To check out the full video, search for Verify This on the app and click that follow button so that you are the first to see what we post next. Oh, did you hear that sound? That means it's time for our first Did You Know, where we feature one relatively unknown interesting fact that we, of course, verified. So here goes. Did you know that there is a creek that drains into both the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans? It's true. It's called Two Oceans Creek. Located in Wyoming, this body of water splits right here at the Continental Divide into the Atlantic Creek and the Pacific Creek. The Atlantic Creek's waters eventually make it to the Mississippi River, which flows into the Atlantic, while the Pacific Creek's waters eventually make it to the Snake River, which goes to the Pacific. Pretty cool, right? Well, if you liked that Did You Know, sign up for our daily newsletter. It has a new Did You Know every day, as well as 3 fast facts and more of our recent stories. To sign up, go to verifythis.com/email. Next up, y'all, we have got to talk about those clapback tweets from the White House. Critics of the student loan forgiveness plan were met with counter-arguments from the White House about the Paycheck Protection Program, which gave out loans to businesses during the height of the pandemic. Now, the White House, they brought all the receipts to show that some of the critics of the student loan forgiveness plan had millions of dollars worth of PPP loans forgiven. Casey Decker with our team breaks down the data on how the two forms of forgiveness compare.
President Biden just announced a plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt for some people. When critics attacked the plan, the White House responded on Twitter by pointing out some of those critics had gotten even larger loans forgiven by the government. Those loans weren't student loans, they were Paycheck Protection Program loans. The PPP was created during the early stages of the pandemic to provide business owners with cash so they wouldn't have to lay off workers. According to the Treasury Department, as long as the loans were used to cover payroll, they could be, and often have been, forgiven. Recently, many people have claimed that the average forgiven PPP loan was much larger than the 10 to 20 grand in forgiveness that many students are now receiving. This tweet from Senator Bernie Sanders says the average amount of debt forgiveness to businesses was more than $95,000. So let's verify. Is the average amount forgiven for PPP loans greater than $20,000? Our sources, the Small Business Administration, the Department of Education, and the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee. That committee is a government agency tasked with tracking how pandemic relief funds get used. Out of a total 11.5 million PPP loans, more than 10 million were fully or partially forgiven. And the agency calculated that the average amount forgiven was $72,500. So where did Sanders get the 95,000 figure? Well, that was the average as of last year, when only about 4 million loans had been forgiven. Since then, millions of smaller loans have been processed, bringing the average down, according to the Small Business Administration. But when it comes to student loans, the max most people can get forgiven under Biden's plan is 20 grand. So even with the lower 72 grand figure for PPP loans, we can verify, yes, the average amount forgiven for PPP loans is greater than $20,000. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
You can find Verify stories on all of our social media apps. But let's talk about what makes Instagram unique. With just a quick scroll, you can see some of our verified headlines, like this one, confirming that political ads on TV aren't required to be factual. You can click on our Reels page to have one of our reporters walk you through a fact check and watch clips from our experts. To check out our page, search for Verify This on the app. And don't forget, you can slide right into those DMs if you have a question for us. Next up is another viewer spotlight story. This one was inspired by a question sent in by Verify viewer Tim. Do you still carry cash in your wallet? Well, Tim recently tried to pay with cash at a business and found out that that business went cashless. He contacted us to ask if it's legal. So we asked Brandon Lewis and our team of researchers to look into it.
You've heard the phrase cash is king, but more and more businesses are going cashless. Some owners say it's easier, safer, and more cost-effective not to deal with cash. However, several social media users claim banning cash is illegal. Verify viewer Tim says he encountered a cashless concession during a trip to a local stadium and emailed us to ask if that violates federal law. So Tim, let's verify. Does federal law require businesses to accept cash?
Our sources are the Federal Reserve System, the U.S. Department of Treasury, Title 31 of the U.S. Code of Laws, the Payment Choice Act, and several local payment laws.
Many of the social media posts highlight a statement appearing on all U.S. paper currency that this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. They argue that purchases are debts, therefore businesses are legally required to accept their cash, or legal tender, as payment. The Federal Reserve says that's not what the statement means.
Legal tender is defined by Title 31 of the U.S. Code of Laws.
In short, the law means that the cash is worth the amount it represents, but does not mean that a private business must accept the cash. The Treasury Department points out there's a long history of businesses restricting cash, such as some public buses that don't take pennies or dollar bills. So, no, there is no federal law that requires businesses to accept cash, although there is a push for that to change. The Payment Choice Act would require businesses with a storefront nationwide to take cash for transactions that are less than $2,000. Lawmakers point out there are millions of Americans who don't have a credit or debit card. The bill was folded into a defense bill and passed the House earlier this year, but it's still awaiting action in the Senate. Some cities and states like Colorado, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco also have laws that require local businesses with a storefront to take cash, with some exceptions. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Want to get a shout out like Tim? Yeah, I thought so. Let me show you a quick way to do it. Grab your phone and send us a text to 202-410-8808. Once you sign up for our daily fast facts delivered straight to your phone, you can start submitting those claims that you would like to be verified. And you might even get a shout out just like Tim. For our final story of the day, we looked into a viral claim that a new Instagram update shares your exact location with other users. A security warning for Instagram users has gone viral, claiming that an update to the app allows people to find your exact location. The post urges users to turn off their phone's precise location feature, so the app doesn't share a user's specific location through their geolocated posts or stories. So let's verify. Does an Instagram update change how precise your location appears to other people? Our sources are Instagram, Apple, and Google. Precise location is a phone setting that lets you control location access for all apps. It's been around in Apple and Android phones for more than a year now. Here's what the setting does and doesn't do. When you post a picture or a video to Instagram, you can search for and add any location as a geotag. It can be as specific as an exact address or business name, or as vague as a state or a country. The precise location setting does not control the location information that's shared out on a post. Let me show you what it actually does on my iPhone. I have location services and precise location turned on in my phone settings for Instagram. Now, when I post a picture, I get a bunch of specific locations to choose from to geotag my photo, like the restaurant here on my block. Now, if I turn off precise location, my geolocation options are much less specific. Instead of the restaurant downstairs, the app suggests the neighborhood or the city that I'm in. And if I turn off location services altogether, the app doesn't suggest any locations for me to tag, because it doesn't actually know where I am. In all of these examples, it's up to me to choose how much information about my location I want to share on my post. Prior to these updates, location sharing was all or nothing. That means that an app like Instagram got the same location information as an app like Google Maps. After the update, you can now turn off the precise location setting, giving you the option to share generalized but not precise location information with apps like Instagram. Instagram addressed these viral claims, saying, "To be clear, we don't share your location with others. Similar to other social media companies, we use precise location for things like location tags and map features." So we can verify, no, there is no new Instagram update that changes how precise your location appears to other people. We have time for one last Did You Know before we go. Did you know that young owls sleep on their stomachs to keep themselves from falling out of trees? I know, they're so cute. They also kind of remind me of the planking trend back in 2011 that was inspired by The Office. Should we bring that back? If you liked that Did You Know, sign up for our daily newsletter. It has a new Did You Know every day, as well as 3 fast facts and more of our recent stories. To sign up, go to verifythis.com/email. On behalf of our entire Verified team of researchers, reporters, producers, editors, and motion graphics artists, I hope you enjoyed our show and that you learned something new today. I'm your host, Ariane Till. If you're craving even more fact checks, head on over to the Verify This YouTube page. That's where you can find bingeable fast facts, extended interviews with our experts, and lots of fact checks. And while you're there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, if there's something else that you want us to verify, just send us a text to 202-410-8808. And if you send us your question as a video, you could end up in the show. Our number is right here, still on your screen, so make sure to lock us in, and we'll see you back here next week with answers to more of your questions, verified. For more episodes of Verify This, go to our video on demand. Click shows at the top of your screen, and there you'll find past episodes of Verify This, plus other shows on demand.